Hey, I'm Wes Schaeffer, the Sales Whisperer. Thanks for tuning in to lesson 4 of my 7-part mini-series on how to make every sale. I wanted to talk a little bit about golf. I mentioned this in episode number 2, but I love golf. I love the Masters especially, but it's a great way to drive home a point. You know, Einstein called compound interest the 8th wonder of the world, and nothing illustrates the importance of minor little changes, what you think little changes, minor improvements, making a big difference. You've always heard the saying that small hinges swing big doors, and that's quite evident in the world of golf. You know, when you have in business, we have, a 40-hour work week. You work 50 weeks a year. That's 2,000 hours a year. If you want to make $100,000 and you divide those 2,000 hours into that, then you're earning basically $50 an hour. But most entrepreneurs work a lot more than that. If you're working twice as much, then you're making $25 an hour. So what can you do to leverage your time to make these incremental improvements to go from $25 an hour to $2,500 an hour, which is quite possible, believe it or not. But if you improve just 1% every week for a year, you'll be 66% better because of the way that the math compounds, okay? Do that again for another year, you're going to be 170% better, more efficient, okay? And who knows how much more money you can make, because it really does become an exponential growth. But if you look at the 2015 winner of the Masters, Jordan Spieth, and again, I talked about him in episode number 2, but he earned $1.8 million when he won the Masters. 2 guys tied for second place, okay? They each won $880,000. So it's 48% less, but at least they got paid for losing. Now, Jordan shot 270 strokes over 4 days. These 2 guys that tied for second only were 4 strokes behind over 4 days. So 1 stroke a day across 18 holes of golf each day. That's just 1.46% worse. But they took a 48% cut in pay. Okay? You and I, if we're 1% worse, if we're 0.46%, right? Less than 0.5% per day is what that amounted to for these second place golfers. If you and I are 1% worse, if we're 0.46% worse, we get nothing. That's the importance and the power of making sure you stack the odds in your favor. You cannot overlook anything. The world is so competitive now with the online industry, with social media. You know, you're no longer competing with the person across the street or across town. You're literally competing on a global basis. I regularly get clients and speak to prospects from Australia, New Zealand, England, I mean, literally all over the world. I have clients in Asia. I have clients in the Middle East. So it's a global world. So what is the 1% that you're doing every day, every week to make that difference? And so I hope this drove home the point. And, I started out, I scroll up here and you see this is on page 18 and 19 of the workbook. When I teach the Make Every Sale course live, either as a 7-week live session interactive with me, or when I do my 1 and 2 day sessions here in person in Southern California, you get this workbook. But again, Einstein called it the 8th wonder of the world, this compound interest. Okay, if you can grow 10% a month, at the end of a year, you're not 120% better, you're 314% better. And you may have seen this little quiz when you were younger, but if I asked you, would you want $1 million today, or a penny today, and I double that penny every day for a month, most people would jump at that $1 million, okay? Well, they forget that the government's going to take 55% of it, and then your crazy uncle and lives in the closet. He's going to come out of his cave and out from under his rock and ask for a loan, and all your buddies and friends. So you'll end up with nothing. But anyway, I digress. If you were to double this over 30 days, and you see the math here, by the end, you end up with a cumulative total of $21.4 million. So by going for the fast, easy, quick hit today, you'd give up $20 million. And you notice here, almost 94% of the growth comes in the last 4 days. So what are you doing now? Do you have a plan to grow, to improve every day, every week, every month? And again, we're talking 0.5%, 1% type growth. And it could be making a better Twitter profile. It could be creating a better business card. It could be working on a better opening script, an opening line when you get on the phone. When you speak to a receptionist, a gatekeeper, an executive assistant, what do you say when you actually reach that decision maker on the phone? How do you act and conduct yourself when you get that actual meeting with that decision maker? What are you doing on social media? What are you doing with email? What are you doing with direct mail? Do you have a trade show program? How do you engage somebody at the trade show? Do you have better opening lines, headlines on your emails? Are you doing advertorials? Are you doing pay-per-click ads on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on Google Display Network? There's so many things you can be doing and testing and learning and experimenting with. Or are you just wasting your time on social media? Are you wasting time and money going to conferences, hanging out, maybe getting hungover, having a little fun, taking some notes, getting inspired for a moment, going home tired, going home to a flood of emails and voicemails you got to get back to, and you never open that notebook and apply the things that you learned? It's not enough to learn. It's all about action. It always has been and always will be. So thanks for tuning into this. Stay plugged into these 7 days in this mini course, but take advantage. If there's something you need, if there's some skills you need to improve on, if you've got to get better at sales, and you know what? Everybody has to get better at sales. I always say marketing is just selling in print. Okay? Great marketing makes the sale easy, but great selling makes great marketing possible. It's all sales. Everything. When you go to a restaurant, they're selling you on ordering from that menu instead of changing things up. Your kids are selling you on whether they could get ice cream for dessert or go to Disneyland or Disney World or SeaWorld. Everything is a sale. You're selling your boss on getting a raise. You're selling your boss on getting you a new computer. You're selling your boss on, changing desks, getting that corner office. And if you're your own business owner, if you're your own entrepreneur, you're selling, obviously, everybody. You're selling vendors on cutting you a better deal, on extending terms, on reducing the interest on any loans that you may have. You're negotiating with your own staff, your virtual assistants. So it's all about sales. Okay, so again, thanks for checking this out. For more information on the 30-day program where is self-paced, or the live 7 courses that I teach, or the in-person courses that I teach, head on over to makeeverysale.com and stay tuned for the next several sessions coming your way shortly.